So listen, folks, check it out. We're in 2023 right now. You don't have to make that January 1st March just to end it on January 10th. But here's the important part of January. As you get closer to the month, at the end of the month, if you haven't made any changes, what's going to happen is you're going to get comfortable. Then the first quarter is going to come. And then all of a sudden, you're going to feel a little bit left behind because there's no momentum. Momentum is key when you build it, but you got to do it on a daily basis with habits, with rituals, understanding who your top 5 is. Who are the people that are going to show you how you could turn decades into days by standing on their shoulders? And today we're going to talk about financial planning, but specifically financial planning for millennials, right? So at the end of the day, the millennial world, they operate different than the world that I come from and even the world that my parents came from. And at the end of the day, no matter what world you're in, if you could understand how to set financial goals, what does that mean? A goal is something you write out, right? But if you write out a goal and you put a timeline on it with a specific outcome that's necessary, what begins to happen is your world dramatically changes, right? So at the end of the day, if I write a goal for the first 90 days of 2023, and unless I'm going to check that on a weekly basis, because I don't think every 2 weeks or every month is going to be important, I think it needs to be checked out on a weekly basis to measure it, to make sure that I'm on the right path. If I don't do that, then all of a sudden 2, 3, 4 weeks go by and I'm either way ahead, which I should readjust, or I'm way behind. And if I'm kind of, just trying to catch up to break even on the goals, it could create a different mindset. So I think it's important to understand, what is your measuring tools? Are the goals realistic? And celebrate successes along the way. If you can't celebrate successes along the way, even the small little victories, because they lead to bigger victories. If you're in sales, small little yeses over the timeline of a sale leads to a bigger yes. So how do you set a financial goal? Okay, the first thing is, where do you want it to be in 90 days? Second thing is, how much you're going to put away to get there. The third thing, which you can't control, is what is the rate of return. But what you can control is how much money you put away. So what does that mean? Well, you always want to make sure that you save about 20% of every single check that comes in. If you're like, Rob, listen, man, I can only save 5 or I can only save 10. You know what? Make your way to 15, make your way to 20. And then when you save it, you want to make sure that money cannot be taken away because of things you can't control in the stock market or any other investment. But at the end of the day, here's what's important to understand. And I want you to get with this right now. Also take a look at cash flow. How much money comes in versus how much money goes out. Also look at cash flow. You want to check out how much money comes in versus how much money goes out. And then how much is going on interest on credit cards, how much is going out on, gas, you're driving around a lot, out dinners, Uber Eats. Start analyzing that, start measuring that. And all of a sudden, you may start picking up pennies along the way that now you could save money that you didn't thought you could save. What is the cost of your car insurance? Have you taken a solid look at that? Because at the end of the day, there could be little saving strategies there. Remember, we're talking about interest on credit cards. We're talking about, what you're spending money on loosely. We're talking about, what is your car insurance cost or your health insurance? Anything that you're paying money on a fixed basis, on a monthly basis, look at that first and then start looking at the history of your variables, see what the pattern is and cut it in half. And all of a sudden you'll start saving more money. And like anything else, you'll start building momentum. Now, you want to check on this every week because you want to make sure you're cutting out that dinner. If you do that, all of a sudden there's an extra $100 that you could save that you didn't think of. And then you want to learn how to manage debt. What does that mean? Okay, so if you have credit card debt, don't get on more. Start creating a program that reduces the debt on a monthly basis, but make sure you're not paying all that all first without saving money first. So if all of a sudden you could save $1,000 a month and you don't put the whole $1,000 towards your credit card debt, go $500 credit card, reducing the debt and $500 into your savings account. And if you understand how to manage that, all of a sudden you're going to put yourself in a position to really take advantage of opportunities because now you're getting liquid. You're opening up your frequency and the energy to, I'm going to use the word universe, and opportunities are going to start coming your way. But don't forget about the real estate between your ears, because that's where resourcefulness and innovation comes. There are people that I know, and I've done this myself, where you don't even come out of pocket. You use other people's money for opportunities that come to build businesses. And it's an incredible thing once you learn how to do it, because if you bring a message and you bring congruency and you show somebody that you have a plan and you know that they can make money with you, there's so many people out there that would invest into something like that. And then this comes down to understanding investment options. I mean, listen, you're saving money, right? You want to be able to just, you want to put it in a savings account first. But then do you deploy it somewhere else? And if you deploy it somewhere else, is it earning a rate of return while it's still earning a rate of return in another account? In other words, are you creating multiple uses of each and every dollar? By the way, go ahead and click the link below. Reach out to one of the team members at Epic and say, I want to learn how to do multiple uses of each and every dollar. They'll take you through the success process. There's no obligation on your part, but let's get back into it. Think about how to get multiple uses without additional risk. Think about how you could collaborate with other people and share their ecosystem with your ecosystem. You may have something to sell, or they may have something to sell where you could collaborate. If you have an ecosystem that believes and listens to you, and this person over here has something that can make their world better, collaborate. It's called an ecosystem merger. It's not a B&I group, it's an ecosystem merger. These are different investment options. Don't think IRA, 401k, Apple stock. Think outside the box. Hey, can you have somebody's company's sales team turn around? I'm not talking about Apple. I'm talking about a local company that's in your area that maybe have 5 or 10 employees whose sales training is so dismal, they can't close it. I hate using the word close, but they can't close a door. Now, all of a sudden, you come in with your sales experience, you train their sales team, their profits go up, and by the margin they go up, you should ask for half of or 50% of that growth. That's an option where you could come in with consult for equity or consult for profit share. And like I said before, at the end of the day, if you have a great business idea and other people have capital, talk to them. Let them know what you're going to build. Let them become an owner, at least the finance part first, and then they can own a piece of it, share in the profits. You would be amazed that there's some people with money that don't know how to build businesses, and then there's people like you, like me, that know how to build businesses, and other people's money comes in and just adds rocket fuel to the whole mix. And by the way, this comes down to budgeting, right? So not only we talked about, creating financial goals, but then tied into that is the budgeting and the saving strategies. And I talked about that at the top. I kind of got into that. But listen, I would set up a separate checking account called the wealth accumulation account. Anything that I discovered cash flow wise that I could save, even if I don't go past the match on my 401k, now all of a sudden there's some extra savings, put it in the wealth accumulation account. If you're going to save out of pocket $500, $1,000 a month, put it in the wealth accumulation account. If you did 7 dinners a month, now you're going to do 4, and there's a difference, put it in the wealth accumulation account. If you have other strategies and ideas and they're all written out, go to ChatGPT. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take all my podcasts, put it on there, and I'm going to let Chat make a book for me. That's what I'm going to do. You heard it here. So at the end of the day, if in fact you have this kind of mindset and you have a message that you want to share with the world that could help somebody. If I help one person today on this video, if one person takes what I said and they apply it in their world and their family and their generation, the generational growth of one family benefits from this, then I know I did my job. And at the end of the day, it comes down to budgeting and saving, comes down to who's your top 5, what are their credentials. I know somebody that worked with me, her top 5 was a guy that taught her to sell life insurance out of a Subway. I'm not sure if that's a mentor you want, right? So, I think it's important you know who your mentors are. There's other people here that had mentors that, quite frankly, they said, hey, go to the bar and have buffalo wings with Jimmy. I mean, if you look in the insurance industry, these sales managers who are below par producers are training other people to sell something they couldn't sell. Why do you think 99% of sales agents inside the life insurance the bed? Yes, the bed, because the training is atrocious. And if you're offended, go to your therapist. Don't get mad at me because your training is suboptimal and you know it. Anyway, so when we get into all this and understand exactly what's going on, how do you build credit? You got to pay your bills on time, right? It's okay if you open up a credit card, pay it off, use the points, right? If mom and dad are going to help you because you're a millennial, let them help you. Let them help you get ahead. But don't look for the instant gratification dopamine hit and just start spending money knowing you can't pay back the credit cards. Building credit is a phenomenal equalizer for you as you get a little bit older in your 20s and into your 30s. There's availability there to use your credit to do many different things. My partner, Sean Callaghy, owner of Callaghy Law Firm, one of the best law firms here in New Jersey, as well as the founder of Unblinded Peak Performance Sales Corporate Training. This brother started a law firm on a credit card with $100,000 and did an exit 4 years later after 2 years having lawyers working for him, 40 of them. I want you to think about that. Any lawyer that's on here right now, did you ever know someone that started a law firm At the age of 28, 2 years later when they were 30, they had 40 attorneys working for them, and 3 years later they sold it just to become a coach and then came back in and did it again. Anyway, the world, if you're watching this video right now, don't think school, don't think any kind of financial education you got in school. Think outside the box, trust your instinct. Relationship capital is so important. It can help you elevate, it can help you go to another level, but no matter what, you got to make sure your word is your bond. And if you make sure your word is your bond and your action is louder than your words, you will create raving fans and people that want to work with you. Anyway, thanks for checking me out today. Go ahead, click the link below. Set up a time to speak to one of the people here at Epic. They'll take you through the Epic Financial Freedom Map. They'll answer any questions. There's no obligation. Love the fact that you're checking in with us. Super grateful. Looking forward to the next time we meet.